There is a sacred truth that too many forget when they are in pain, in waiting, or in silence. God is not done. What you're walking through today is not a sign of an ending. It is a signal, a sacred whisper, that the greatest part of your story has yet to unfold. Life may look still, the world around you may seem quiet, but in the invisible everything is shifting. There are unseen hands working on your behalf. What you call delay is only preparation. Let me tell you something that may shock you. You are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you. Waiting on you to believe again, to imagine again, to speak life over yourself even when everything feels lifeless. The greatest miracles do not come when you beg. They come when you believe. Not halfway, not conditionally, but completely, as though what you asked for is already here. You say, "I've been broken," but have you forgotten? Every breakdown is the seed of your breakthrough. You say, "I feel lost," yet you are never lost in the eyes of the divine. You are simply being rerouted to a higher outcome. There is something extraordinary waiting on the other side of your persistence. But it cannot come through struggle, it comes through alignment. Stop speaking the language of limitation. Start speaking from the end. Say to yourself, "This chapter is not the end. This pain is not the whole story. Something sacred is coming. Something unstoppable is being written in my name." The best part of your story is not in your past. It is not in what you lost. It is not in what was taken. It is in what you are about to receive. And what you are about to receive will not make sense to the version of you that almost gave up. That version must die, so the real you can rise. The version who begs must become the version who embodies. The version who doubts must become the version who declares. The version who fears must become the version who knows. Because when you know, truly know, that the best is next, you stop chasing and start claiming. Walk as if the door is already open. Speak as if the promise is already fulfilled. Rest as if you've already arrived. And you will find that God never forgot you. He was simply preparing a scene so good, so divine, so unmistakably perfect that only the future you would be ready for it. So let this be your declaration. God's not done with me. My story is still unfolding. And the next part, the part I'm stepping into, will be the best I've ever lived. Because you are not falling apart. You are being put together for something higher. And the best part, you don't even have to chase it. You just have to become it. God's not done. The next chapter will prove why the wait was worth it. Do not judge your life by what you see today. The visible world, this tangible realm, is not the full truth. It is simply a mirror, reflecting old beliefs, former assumptions, and previous inner conversations. What you see now is not a prophecy, it is history. It is the echo of your former state of mind, a shadow of what you once believed to be true. And so, if your current reality appears dark, stagnant, or full of lack, do not panic. Do not mourn what is showing up now. Because this is not the conclusion, this is not the ending of your story, it is merely a transitional scene between who you were and who you are becoming. You must understand, life flows from within out. Circumstances arise out of consciousness. When you believed in lack, lack appeared. When you felt abandoned, abandonment showed up. But that was then. And now, you have chosen differently. You are beginning to assume the state of fulfillment. You are starting to walk in the awareness of abundance, wholeness, and purpose. And as surely as day follows night, what you have assumed within must now appear without. But here's the part most overlooked. There is always a delay between planting and harvest. There is a secret space between assumption and appearance. That delay is not denial, it is divine orchestration. It is the universe reassembling itself to reflect your new state of being. So if things still look the same, be still. Stay grounded. Hold your new assumption with faith and persistence. Because what's unfolding right now is not the final act. It's the middle scene. A bridge of events that will lead you from what was to what you have accepted as already yours. Do not make the mistake of judging the journey before the promise is delivered. A construction site always looks chaotic before the masterpiece is revealed. And so does life when transformation is underway. Hold fast, speak from the end, imagine from the outcome, live as if it's done. Because your current circumstance is not your conclusion, it is not your label, it is not your truth. It is only the temporary residue of the past. And once you stop reacting to it and start living from your new assumption, everything will change quietly, powerfully, completely. Creation does not begin with effort, it begins with imagination. Pure, bold, unquestioning vision. Long before anything materializes in the world of form, it is born in the unseen. The real beginning of all things is not in action, but in the invisible world of thought and belief. That is the realm where all power rests. Imagination is not daydreaming. It is the divine blueprint, the invisible seed from which your future grows. When you dare to imagine something greater, something beyond your current reality, you are not escaping life, you are rewriting it. You are stepping into the spiritual workshop where all things are crafted before they become visible. The moment you believe in the unseen, truly believe, not with words but with feeling, the universe responds. It begins to rearrange circumstances, shift relationships, open doors, close others, and guide events in ways your physical senses cannot yet comprehend. You do not need to push, chase, or strive. You only need to see, not with your eyes, but with your inner vision, the eye of faith. God does not respond to desperation, He responds to alignment. Faith is the evidence of things not seen, and imagination is how that evidence is formed. The world around you bends not to effort, but to assumption. The secret is not in doing more, it's in assuming more boldly. When you dwell on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you close your eyes and live from the end, something miraculous happens. What you see in the spirit begins to take shape in the world. The external world, being only a shadow, must conform to the light within. It has no choice. God's next move is not waiting for your work. It's waiting for your belief. He moves where your faith leads. And faith is simply sustained imagination, dwelling so deeply in your vision that it becomes more real to you than what your senses report. If you want to know what is coming next in your life, look to your imagination. That is the preview of your next chapter. Guard it, feed it, honor it. Because what you imagine with conviction, you invite with power. What you believe in the silence, God brings into the light. You are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you. We often speak of divine timing as if it were some distant clock slowly ticking toward our breakthrough. But divine timing is not measured in hours or days, it is measured in alignment. The moment your inner state matches the reality you desire, things move quickly, naturally, powerfully. You see, the delay you perceive is not in God's hands. It is in your own heart. God has already said yes to the version of you that is whole, abundant, healed, and fulfilled. But if you continue to identify as broken, lacking, or unworthy, you remain out of sync with what has already been prepared. Life doesn't bring you what you beg for. It brings you what you believe yourself to be. When you shift your self-concept, everything shifts. You are not waiting for a new reality to appear. You are waiting to become the person who lives in it. That transformation does not take time. It takes decision. It takes the courage to let go of the old story and embody the new one fully, without apology or hesitation. God responds to movement, not outer movement, but inner conviction. When you dare to feel the truth of your desire as if it were already fulfilled, you step into alignment. And in that state, doors open, paths appear, and what you once called coincidence becomes divine choreography. This is why you must stop looking to the sky for a sign and start looking within. The answer isn't coming, it's already here, but you must be in the state to receive it. Waiting is a posture of passivity. Alignment is a posture of power. When you walk in the knowing that it is done, the world rearranges itself to reflect that knowing. Do not ask, when will it happen? Ask instead, am I being the version of me who already has it? Because when you answer yes to that question, not with words, but with identity, you move into harmony with divine timing. And then suddenly everything accelerates. So remember this. You're not behind. You're not late. You're not forgotten. You're simply being invited to become, and the moment you do, the next and best part of your story begins to unfold. Effortlessly, gracefully, and right on time. The best part of your life isn't waiting for you in some distant future. It already exists. Right now, in the invisible realm of consciousness, everything you desire has already been created. You are not manifesting something brand new. You are choosing from what already is. The moment you grasp this, life changes. Because you realize you're not building your future with effort. You're aligning with it through belief. There is only one moment now, and within this eternal now, every version of your life exists. The life where you're whole, abundant, deeply loved, successful. It is not a fantasy or a wish. It is a reality, already formed, simply awaiting your recognition. You do not create it by striving. You bring it into your experience by selecting it through your state of being. What you call the future is simply the unfolding of the state you are dwelling in today. If you continue to live from lack, worry, or doubt, you remain aligned with a version of reality that reflects those states. But when you dare to assume that it's already done, that what you desire is already yours, you shift timelines. You move into alignment with a version of life where it has already happened. This is why faith is so powerful. Not because it changes God's mind, but because it changes your position. It places you in harmony with what has always been available to you. You begin to see what you previously could not, simply because you believe it's there. And the moment you live as though it were true, the invisible becomes visible. You don't need proof to begin, you need conviction. Because the world doesn't show you what's real, it shows you what you've accepted as real. The outer world is always catching up to your inner world. So if you want to see a different outcome, start by choosing a different assumption. Walk, talk, and feel as if the best part of your story has already unfolded. Let go of the waiting. Let go of the hoping. Step into knowing. Because your future is not coming from the outside. It is already alive in the unseen, and it will rush into form the moment you agree with it in spirit. The best part of your life is already here, and it's yours the moment you dare to live from it. Every breakdown you've experienced wasn't the end. It was the beginning. What felt like collapse was actually construction in disguise. When the walls fell, when the doors closed, when people left, it wasn't destruction, it was alignment. Life was removing what no longer fit. Where you going? And though you may have called it loss, heaven called it preparation. Nothing is ever truly lost. The job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that slipped away, none of it was meant to break you. It was meant to break open the parts of you still clinging to the lesser when the greater was already written. God never subtracts without the intention to multiply. He never removes without the plan to replace with something more suited, more divine, more expansive. You see, the mind grieves what it can no longer see, but the spirit rejoices in what it knows is coming. When something leaves your life, instead of mourning it as the end, recognize it as a sacred clearing. Just as a farmer must till the ground and remove the weeds before planting fresh seed, so too must your life be cleared of old energies, attachments, and patterns that cannot carry the weight of your next blessing. Evil breakdown was a setup for breakthrough, not by accident, but by divine orchestration. The moments that hurt the most often held the greatest lessons and the deepest transformation. You weren't being punished, you were being positioned. Life was rearranging itself to make room for the version of you that's been waiting to emerge. So trust the tearing down, trust the release, trust the silence, the space, the unanswered prayers. They are not signs of abandonment, but signs of deeper preparation. The blessing that's meant for you is too big to fit in the old container. The new wine must be poured into new wineskins. The new life must rest upon a new foundation. You didn't lose. You were lifted. You weren't left behind. You were led forward. And what's ahead of you is not compensation, it's elevation. What's coming next will not only heal what broke you, but show you why it had to happen. So hold your head high. The breakdown was not your defeat. It was the prelude to your divine breakthrough. You are not just playing a role in your life, you are writing the script with every thought you accept, every word you speak, and every emotion you dwell in. Life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. And while others may appear on your stage, no one else is holding the pen. You are both the author and the actor, creating the scenes that unfold before you. If you don't like the way the story is going, don't wait for someone to change the plot. Change the narrator within. It's your inner dialogue, the words you repeat to yourself in silence, that determines the direction of your life. Every belief you hold becomes a line in your script. Every assumption you make becomes a scene played out in time. Too many people try to change their life without changing the story they're telling themselves. They chase new results while carrying the same old narrative. But it doesn't work that way. You cannot live a victorious life with a defeated mindset. You cannot step into a better chapter if you're still reciting lines from your past. The moment you begin to say the best is next with conviction, not as a wish but as a fact, you start turning the page. You start creating new chapters where possibility replaces limitation, where faith replaces fear, and where clarity replaces confusion. Your words are not just expressions, they are instructions to the universe, to your subconscious, and to the unseen forces that shape your world. Every great transformation begins with a change in dialogue. Speak differently, think differently, feel differently. Because when you assume the role of someone whose best days are ahead, you activate the script that matches that state. You become the person who naturally attracts experiences that align with a better story. You are not a victim of the narrative, you are the one telling it. And just like any great author, you have the power to revise, reframe, and rewrite at any moment. The old chapter may be filled with pain, but it does not define the ending. The pen is still in your hand. So write boldly, act courageously, and never forget, you are the story, the storyteller, and the stage upon which the next miracle will unfold. So, if life feels uncertain, if the road seems unclear, remember this: God is not done. What you see today is not the end, it's the unfolding. Your current reality is not your final destination. It is only a reflection of yesterday's thoughts. But today you have the power to choose again, to imagine again. You are not waiting on permission, on timing, or on people. You are aligning with the truth that the best part of your story is not behind you, it's ahead of you, already existing in the invisible, waiting for you to become the version of yourself that receives it. Hold your vision, speak your new script, trust your unseen future, and walk in the quiet, unshakable knowing that every breakdown, every delay, and every detour was preparing you for what's next. Because what's next is better than what's been. Your best is not coming. Your best is here, because now you are ready for it. Thank you for listening. Keep believing, keep becoming, and never forget, the best part of your story is next.